Today, we're going to demystify the 4 types of data analytics. And trust me, this is about way more than just crunching numbers. It's really a journey from looking at the past to actually being able to shape the future.
So let's be real. Your business, your organization, you're probably swimming in data. Sales figures, customer emails, website clicks, you name it. But just having all that data doesn't really do anything, does it? The real trick is figuring out how to turn that flood of information into smart, decisive action.
I want you to think about this as a journey with a few key stops. Analytics lets us move from just looking backward at what already happened to making really good guesses about what will happen, and then, this is the cool part, to actually making the right things happen. It's this incredible shift from hindsight to foresight.
At its heart, this is what data analytics is all about. It's a process for digging through data to find patterns and figure things out. But remember, the end goal isn't just to have a bunch of interesting charts. It's to use that understanding to make way better, more strategic decisions.
Okay, so our journey starts by looking backward. The first 2 types of analytics, descriptive and diagnostic, are all about understanding the past. You can think of it like looking in your car's rearview mirror. You got to know where you've been to know where you're going.
The most basic, most fundamental question any business asks is this one right here. What happened? It's the starting line for pretty much any kind of data insight.
And answering that question? Well, that's the job of descriptive analytics. This is the one you see everywhere. It takes a mountain of historical data and boils it down into something you can actually understand, like a weekly sales report or a dashboard. But here's the key. It tells you what happened, but it doesn't tell you why.
So naturally, the moment you know what happened, the very next question that pops into your head is, well, why? Why were sales up last quarter? Why did that ad campaign totally bomb in one city but not another?
And that's where diagnostic analytics comes in. This is where you put on your detective hat. You take that top-level report and you start drilling down, looking for the reasons, the root causes, the hidden patterns that explain the numbers you're seeing.
Let's make this real with a quick airline case study. First, the descriptive part gives us a simple fact. Last quarter, the Tuesday 8 a.m. flight was 92% full. Okay, that's a useful number. But then, the diagnostic part digs in and finds the why. It turns out there was a huge rush of last-minute business travelers who were willing to pay a 40% premium. See? One is a fact, the other is a real insight.
All right, we've made sense of the past. Now, this is where things get really exciting. We're going to turn around and start looking forward. Welcome to the world of predictive analytics.
This is a total game changer. We're shifting from being reactive to being proactive. We're asking, based on everything we've seen before, what's probably going to happen next? So what predictive analytics does is it takes all that historical data we just analyzed and feeds it into some pretty smart algorithms. Statistical models, machine learning. Now, it's not a crystal ball. It can't tell you the future with 100% certainty, but it can calculate the most likely outcomes, and that is incredibly powerful. So, back to our airline. It uses all its past booking data to create a predictive model. And that model now says, hey, listen up. For next Tuesday's flight, the conditions look really similar to last time, and we're forecasting that demand is going to be even higher. We think you'll sell 98% of the seats. All of a sudden, they're not guessing anymore. They know what to expect.
But, knowing what's coming is only half the battle. The final frontier, the peak of the mountain for analytics, is about using that knowledge to actually create a better outcome. And that, my friends, is prescriptive analytics.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the so what. We have a forecast that something's going to happen. Okay, so what's the absolute best thing we can do about it right now to take advantage of it? And this is the part that blows my mind. Prescriptive analytics doesn't just tell you what's going to happen, it tells you exactly what to do. It recommends specific, concrete actions you can take to hit your goal, whether that's maximizing profit or something else.
So here it is, the final piece of the puzzle for our airline. The prescriptive model doesn't just say demand will be high. It gives a direct, actionable command. Increase the price of the last 20 seats by 15%. And for any booking made within 72 hours of the flight, add another 10% surcharge. It's a precise, data-driven strategy.
And here is the payoff. This isn't just a hunch. The system has run thousands of simulations, and it projects that this specific strategy will increase the flight's total revenue by 9%. That is a real, measurable impact on the bottom line.
So you might be wondering, how on earth does it come up with that? Well, it's basically a 4-step process. First, it starts with the prediction of high demand. Then it adds in real-world constraints, things like, hey, there are only 150 seats on this plane. After that, it gets to work simulating thousands of different scenarios. What if we raise prices by 5%, 10%? What about a fee? Finally, after crunching all those possibilities, it recommends the one single action that gets the best result.
Okay, let's just pull back for a second and look at the whole picture. Let's see how all these pieces connect to take us from raw data all the way to a smart strategic decision. This table really sums it all up beautifully. You start with descriptive, asking what has happened. Then you move to diagnostic, asking why did it happen. From there, you get into predictive, what will happen. And finally, you reach prescriptive, answering that all-important question, so what should we do? Each step builds right on top of the last one, getting more and more valuable as you go.
And that's really the big idea here. When you progress through this spectrum, data stops being just a dusty old record of what's already happened. It becomes a living, breathing, strategic tool that you can use to navigate the future and build success.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Right now, in your own world, is your data just a record of the past, or are you actually using it as an active, intelligent guide for what you're going to do next?